about this book, Kingston and the Magicians Lost and Found, which is available February 16th. Is that right?
Yep.
February 16th, depending on when you're listening to this, esteemed audience, you might be able to go and get your copy right now, or it's certainly available for pre-order. And you know you're going to want to have it the moment it's available. So who would like to give us an overview of the book? And then the other two can tell us what that person left out, I guess.
Yeah. Harold.
I nominate Harold.
Yeah, Harold.
Kingston is about a young man named Kingston James who is on a mission. And his mission is to find his father who disappeared. His father disappeared in a very mysterious, strange way. And that is through a magic battle or a magic act. So, you know, he just kind of disappeared and it ruined his life, his mother's life, or so she thought, for a little while. They ended up moving away from this cool town called Echo City, which is a kind of a secret borough in New York City, in Brooklyn in particular. And so they move away, and his life is, you know, just not quite as magical as it used to be when he was growing up there. And then, you know, circumstances kind of make them come back to that town where he's now going to live in a brownstone with his estranged uncles that he has not seen in a long time. Now, these uncles are also, you know, cool, you know, interesting characters who are magicians as well. They were magicians with his father. But Kingston never really gives up on the idea that his father's still out there. And so really this book takes you through an emotional journey with Kingston, is returning to a cool town that he's been separated from, where he all along could have been looking for his father, looking for clues, but didn't get a chance to. And now he just feels like he has to just really, really has an opportunity to kind of rush and find out what happened to the greatest missing part of his life. But you know, he's surrounded by his mother, who's really awesome, and she's trying to find something to have him be, you know, grounded in. And that's a great dynamic that we love to play with. We all have like some really strong moms in our lives. And then he has some really cool partners that hang out with him and go on his journey with him. And it kind of becomes, again, one of the things that a story that takes you through real magic. It takes you to some fantastical, cool magic. And it helps us play with ideas and to not have it be like the magic we've seen on television or other kind of things we've seen before. We kind of like get to experiment with things like alternate dimensions and different types of physics and what that looks like. So that's it's really through the eyes of Kingston that we're following this cool story.
Well, Craig, as the other half of Rucker Moses, what do you think? Did he nail it, or what did he miss?
Yeah, well, I'll add along for the ride is Veronica, his cousin. So Veronica is Longfingers, who's one of his uncles. His two uncles are Longfingers and Crooked Eye. So this brownstone that they go to it's called Second Sight, and it's kind of a dilapidated magic shop at this point, but it used to be the family magic shop. So the idea is that Kingston has come back and his mom has come back because they're trying to save the magic shop. It's kind of all they got left in the family. And she's going to try to turn it into something more than a magic shop, which the uncles aren't too psyched about. They might serve coffee. They might have some croissants in the morning. We'll see. But so Veronica is been living in the house. She kind of, you know, her dad is always off doing something. You know, he's known as a trick builder. He always built Kingston's dad, Preston's tricks. So he's always noodling like in his office somewhere, and he's kind of a, you know, a hibernating bear in that sense. And the other friend that's along for the ride is Too Tall. So Too Tall was a friend, you know, keep in mind when he left, he was 8 and now he's 12. So the first time he sees Too Tall's grown probably 2.5, 3 feet. He hardly recognizes him. But he's really happy to connect with an old friend. And immediately those two kind of get pulled into his world. The first place he wants to go when he gets back is to the Mercury Theater, which is where his father disappeared. And like a lot of things in Echo City, it's dilapidated. there's a hole in the roof, and they sneak in there, and that kind of starts the journey because he finds the Magician's Lost and Found inside of the Mercury Theater, and the Magician's Lost and Found is kind of the key to starting the journey to finding his father, but also finding the magic within himself. I don't want to give away too much in the book, but there's something that happens to him when he finds the Magician's Lost and Found and reaches inside, and that kind of starts this parallel journey of the clues to his father's disappearance, to like where exactly did he disappear, who knows how to get to him, and then also this magic that's within him, and figuring out that part as well. And that's kind of like the parallel journey that he's on along with his good friends Veronica and Sutal.
And Theo, what do you think? Any missing pieces that will still need to be added?
I wouldn't say missing pieces. I would just sort of take the big picture take, which is that it's a missing father quest story. It's about, obviously it's this trope. It's almost like a gag that so many of these like adventure stories, open with, a missing parent or a dead parent. But I think what that does as a story is that's the moment that, when we're as kids, we're first tasked with confronting the world truly independently as our own person. And that's when we begin to author our own identities. So this is, Kingston, when Kingston comes back to Echo City, the first place he needs to go is the Mercury Theater, because that's where his dad disappeared. And he's in his sort of obsession to get his dad back and emulate the magician that his dad was, he begins to discover himself and discover a whole lot of surprises about the nature of magic and reality as we know it.
Yeah, and a lot of secrets in Echo City as well, which has been fun to find.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Harry.
We kind of like to kit bash a couple genres together, so there's some action, there's some mystery, a lot of drama. We kind of put those together and kind of like really just kept trying to make every scene as fun and as punched up as we could.
So Theo, were you the Brooklyn expert, since these two have, they have masterful knowledge of Athens, I assume, and masterful knowledge of the West Coast, and then you're the guy that's pointing out all the landmarks for Brooklyn, right? Or did you all get together in Brooklyn and kind of map out Kingston's journey, or how did that work?
Yeah, definitely. I think brought some of the Brooklyn to the project. We actually invented a new neighborhood though in Echo City, which was a lot of fun. So, and there would be some Brooklyn visits in the process. It was a long process. We worked on this for a long time. But as far as I think I was able to help draw the New York characters and sort of, I'm like, I don't know how many generations. My dad was born in Brooklyn, and my mom in Yonkers. I don't know. It's not Brooklyn, but it's New York, so I have some familiarity with the personalities and the voices and that kind of thing. But the roots of the family, the James family, are down south. So we were able to kind of merge all of our, linguistic vocal influences.
Yeah, for sure.